And that leads me to my kind of last question here is it's not a flop, at least in my opinion. And I think that most people can agree that it's been, at the very least, it's been okay. But it, of course, like many tournaments in their first year, needs to be improved in some sort of ways. If you had to pick one thing right now that you need to fix going forward, what is it?
It's hard to choose between scheduling or pricing.
Sure, sure.
But in the eyes of the average fan, I think it'd probably be the scheduling. Even if you don't want to put all the games at 7 p.m. so that you can get more viewers, like you could spread it out a little. People will stay up a little later to go see one of the best teams in the world or what their team from across the world playing right in front of them. So I think they failed in the sense that we could have been garnering a lot more casual fans at these things. But at the moment, it's just really the diehard people, the diehard fans that can make it out to these games, or
Hmm.
that it will take the sacrifice to make it out to these games. So for me, it's got to be the scheduling.
Yeah, I need like a half second more to actually think and digest that question because it's a good one. And so I
Yeah, no
want
problem.
Connor to go first if that's possible, and then
Connor,
I'll come on.
Connor, you're on the spot, buddy.
I don't have a solution to mine, and
Shocker.
mine might be a bit of a weird one. I don't know. I feel like I have to kind of go through the full tournament first before I can like say for certain if this will be a thing. But I feel like for me, I almost feel like I'd have a little bit of club football fatigue because you're going through an entire season starting from April to May, and now normally where you'd be getting a couple months off and you kind of like get to reset, you watch a little bit of international and you get to go through the summer of like building up the excitement of like, oh, rumored players who's joining, like start talking about like, oh, how are we going to line up with these new people going into the next season? And then when you finally come around to it, you were kind of able to build up all this excitement and hype again going into August and carry that throughout the season. And now you're talking about if your team goes all the way to the final, you're going all the way through July 13th. Basically meaning you've got like 1 month before your team starts playing again. I feel like there's just some fatigue at that point. Like even just as a fan of like, I could use a little bit of time to just like, focus on the transfers the team's going through, just kind of talking about tactics and the direction of the team to get like to kind of build up the excitement again and then like go into the new season as opposed to just like them playing all year round at this point and it's just like nonstop like just watching like I mean for a lot of people I'm sure it is going to be exciting and like for the people that are really dedicated to watching club teams play they're probably going to love it. I just feel like for a general fan they might have a little bit of fatigue of just watching their team play the entire year and not having any break to either watch another sport or just be able to like just take a little bit of time to like rebuild your I don't know, your theories, your excitement, your tactics again for going into the next season for your team.
Okay, I got to give an answer. Selfishly, I'm gonna say I think it's just the stadium size. I'm actually okay with paying a higher price ticket if I'm closer to the players that I want to see play, right? Like if instead of seeing Cole Palmer in Atlanta, right? Like I was never going to make that trip. And it's funny we talked about it because we were thought in our head that the Galaxy were going to be in the tournament, and so
Hmm.
we thought like, oh, maybe that's the game that we'll go to. Selfishly, I'd pay more money to see Cole Palmer in a 20,000 person stadium, and I'd pay a little more to make that happen than sitting in the nosebleeds watching him play there without like the guarantee that I'd actually be able to see him, if that makes sense. Like from a selfish, I want to see the best players as close as possible. Like when I went to Europe this summer, I saw United play. I was 10 rows back and it was incredible. Like I got to see my favorite player ever right in front of my eyes for 70 minutes. Like I won't be able to probably do that many times in my lifetime. So if I was able to see them a little closer, I honestly think that on viewership wise, you'll get the same kind of online presence, but on TV, it'll look more full. You'll get passionate fans there. You probably are going to price out people, but unfortunately, that's just the U.S. Like I have a hard time. I always go back and forth because the U.S. in soccer it's a money grab, but it's also just America. Like we're just kind of fighting between that evil all the time, and so consumer greed in me just says put it in a smaller stadium, let me be closer to the action, and let me see an Erling Holland at 15 yards away instead of 100 yards away.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling me like if you took Wydad versus City, right? Who I'm just looking up here, and it was 37,000 in Philly, which
Mhm.
was in, I believe it was the football stadium. They did that.
Yep.
They don't play that in Chester. You saying you take that out and you pack out a bunch of City fans and take all that entire Wydad and spread them across half the stadium. That'd be elite. I completely agree with you there. That'd be wonderful. But like you mentioned, it doesn't, you're going to have to then fight the narrative of, oh, everything's a cash grab because look how expensive these tickets are. So you're going to lose either way if you're FIFA. For me, first off, I love the tournament. I like the idea. I think it's unique, it's different, it's fun. But FIFA screwed it up. Like everything you guys have said has been very spot on. But I was thinking about the other day, which is why I've included this in our chat here. But outside of the time changes, the ticket prices, all that in the stadiums, all these things that are absolutely needed, I think it needs a full summer to itself. Right now, we're competing with MLS, USL's still on, the Gold Cup's on. I've watched 2 Gold Cup games. I usually have the Gold Cup on all the time, but I can't watch it all because it's just all over top of each other. But I think this is a really good way to build hype for the actual World Cup, right? To see how this tournament works, but it can't fight for attention with anything. So the way I would do it is, first off, we mentioned this last time. Next year, the Club World Cup's going back to 6 teams, right? Just the winners of all the federations are going to go play each other, just like it did last year and the year before. This is supposed to be like an every 4 year thing. So in 2029, they're going to do this big 32 team thing again. Scrap the other ones. Scrap the smaller ones. I don't care about those. Nobody's going to watch them. Don't worry about them. Get rid of them. Don't need them. Make this the big one that you're going for. Every 4 years, you have to win your Champions League to get into this tournament. That's it. Period. I think that is first off a great start. You have a reason to win whatever you're doing outside of just the money, right? Then mix the rotation around in terms of the international calendar, right? So 1 year, make it the Club World Cup. World Cup comes the year after that. Then do Gold Cup, Copa America, right? The year after that. Then do Nations League or whatever your equivalent is for what that is, right? Every 4 years, you have one tournament. I don't think you need Nations League and Gold Cup to be every 2 years. I think it's excessive. It's not needed. Nobody really cares. Get rid of it, make it 4 years, and just rotate it one by one by one. Save on the schedule congestion in the consumer field where you don't have to watch everything all at once. Give each tournament one summer to itself and market it, right? Show it that this is the thing you need to watch this year. At the end of the day, I don't think it's going away. I think this has a big future if FIFA can figure it out. Because even though the Euro teams may not care for it or their fans might not care for it, this is such a good opportunity for clubs outside of Europe to compete on the biggest stage with these teams. I mean, look at what that Auckland City story was, right? This dude is about to get fired from his job because he wanted to go play against Manuel Neuer. And you know what? You're valid for that, right? Absolutely. It's not about Bayern here. It's not. But it's great for the ecosystem. The fans care, the teams care, the players for the most part are caring. They just need to make a few tweaks and I think it really takes off personally.
I think
Yeah.
the one thing I want to say on your point there
Yep.
is I would want to at least like maybe have a better understanding or change to like how they determine who qualifies, because I feel like if you do it every 4 years, like are you just going based off of who qualifies recently? Are you gonna like
Mm-hmm.
take into account everybody that's won it in those 4 years during that time? Because like I'm looking like I know Major League Soccer is probably a little bit of an exception here, but it's insane how much a team can change within 2 years. I mean,
Yep.
I'm sure Dylan sees that firsthand with the Galaxy. It took 1 year and the team completely 180'd, right? It's like now picture, we have 3 teams representing MLS in Club World Cup, and if Galaxy win it 3 years ago and now all of a sudden they couldn't afford to keep any of their players anymore, the team is like maybe I won't use the Galaxy. Sorry, that feels like beating up a little bit too much. I'll use San Jose. I'm sure there's not too many people listening from San Jose. Most of the Galaxy rival. So like imagine San Jose wins. I don't know. Let's just say by miracle they win CONCACAF Champions League because Bruce is in charge. Anything's possible with him. And now 3 years later, they're representing Major League Soccer in Club World Cup. It's like this team could be garbage not by now. 3 years later, it's like, is this who we really want? Like, basically representing us at the Club World Cup is San Jose as one of the 3 Major League Soccer teams because they won it 4 years ago. Like when, like in the first window of this qualifying period for Club World Cup.
I definitely see where you're coming from with that. I just think it gets into a dangerous line where you get a situation where the Inter Miamis or whoever has the biggest pull in the league is just going to get that spot, and that can get very corrupt in a way, especially for a league that's boasts its parity throughout the whole thing. I think it'd be tough to have. I think there would be favoritism in that sense if that were the case.
Don Garber, favoritism? No, surely not. No, Connor, it's a great point, Connor. And one of the ways I think we can fix that is half of these teams that qualified by being the fourth highest rated UEFA coefficient, whatever they're doing. Just stick to that then, right? On the day that they are picking by this date for the gold or for the Club World Cup in 2029, you need to be in the top 4, 8, 12, however many your federation gets. You need to be in that top thing, and you go. Right. So that way you have kind of like an average of where you're at. I think that's an easy way to fix it. But it's a great point, right? Yeah, I definitely don't want to see Atlanta United win something, then do what they're doing now and turn into, the laughing stock of the league like they definitely would be. It's a great
Listen,
point.
if I'm gonna if listen, I'll self-deprecate here. Like Chelsea has no business being in here over like a Liverpool. Like Liverpool is clearly better than Chelsea is right now. Like if you're talking about you want the best teams in the Club World Cup, it should be Liverpool there over Chelsea. But Chelsea got it because they won the Champions League like a few years ago. Like
Mhm.
it's clearly a completely different Chelsea team than the one that won the Champions League a few years ago.
Yeah.
So I think the coefficient thing is a good suggestion to kind of like fix that issue. Gives you like the best over a period of time.
Yeah, it's a great point, Connor. Really, really, really good way. And I think it's a good place to end it right there because I think everybody's happy, nobody's yelling at each other, and I haven't gotten pissed off at Connor, so that's a good way to end it.
That's a win.
It is a
That is
win. We got through a whole episode without me having to tell you that you're crazy.